what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of Steven Inks, and we're on a pocket pen trip once again. I swear I'm going to review a regular sized pen one of these days. But today we're talking about the HongDian M2, which is a fantastic little pen. Little is the operative word. It's super small. It's as small as some of the other pocket pens that I've reviewed on this channel, but what's it like under the hood? What are the parts? Do they come together in a nice way like some HongDian pens that I have reviewed? Or is there a lack in quality? It is a low-cost pen. Is it worth it? I'm going to look at those things. We're going to take it apart. We're going to do some drawings. We're going to do some tests, and I'll tell you what I think. So the pen came in this box right here. This box is probably for full-size pens. But I guess why differentiate on something like a box? I have seen this tin before, and it had a little bump like that as well. Interesting. Yeah, it's right the spot where the clip is or something. Oh, and I'm right. There's a clip. Pen comes in a little plastic sleeve. This is a pretty sturdy case. Like I said, I've seen this before in a few pens. Wouldn't call it super intricate, but also it gets the job done. Who am I to complain? Here is the pen. It says up here in the front, see if I can get some focus out of it. There we go. HongDian M2, and this is engraved or laser cut into the pen, so you can feel that when you go by. But it's not sharp, which is good. It seems like there's good machining going on here. I notice on the clip there's what looks like a little bolt, so that makes me wonder, oh yes, we've got a little bit of spring-loaded action on this clip. It definitely has a very distinct give up to this point and then closure. That actually bodes well, because I think if it's planned to open like that, you're not relying on the tension of the metal to hold it in place, which is what most clips do, and to their credit, that doesn't really cause problems, but since this one's designed to open up wider and then come back down, it feels like it might be sturdier. Rounded at the end, we're talking the length of my fingers. For a comparison, this is the Jinhao 82 Mini. They're pretty much the same size. There's a video on this pen that was recently added to this channel. So yeah, it's very small. This pen I felt was too small almost to be comfortable, but just barely made it. This one looks like it might post a little bit more shallow on the body. We'll see. That might make it more comfortable. I am a sucker for a really good finial, and this finial, I think, I'm trying to figure it out. I think it's a cat. See, we're not focusing quite. I'm not catching the light. There we go. I think it's a cat. Is it like a yin-yang black cat, silver cat kind of thing? I think, yeah. I suppose I do kind of like this design idea. I suppose it would be nice if it was just more obvious what it actually is. I'm going to go with cat and not my first thought, which was walrus. Anyway, not a big deal. I just do like a nice finial when they take advantage of that space to add a little design flair. It appears to be like a resin on the top of, you know, like a laser cut or a screen printed maybe even little thing, but it doesn't feel cheap, so it feels nice. We've got threaded cap. They're the threads. They don't feel uncomfortable. They do feel a little sharp, but I don't think I'm going to notice that unless I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which is a very silly thing for me to do, which is just run my fingers along it. But I'm testing it, so you know, you got to know. Black nib. This is an extra fine. You just get a little detail of that nib right there. It's hard to get, there we go. It's hard to get the detail of black nibs, but I'm seeing some cool little etched filigree kind of thing. It says HongDian at the bottom, EF. I have had a lot of good luck with feeds that look like this. I don't know if that means anything, but just saying it. So I'm hopeful. All right, let's check the posting really quick before we move any further. Okay, well, it posts actually quite deep. But yeah, that's comfortable. I'm just gonna bring that Jinhao 82 Mini out and just see what is the difference. Oh yeah, there's a significant length difference with them posted. So I think this is gonna be the better of the two as far as my own comfort level. Because it does look nice capped and everything, and then you posted it feels good, and the metal is smooth. It feels almost warm, like sort of like I don't know what this finish is. It might be an anodizing. I don't know if that's what that's called, but it might be something that that uses science. I don't know how to describe it. Like anodized aluminum or something like that. Anyway, it feels nice and smooth, but not terribly like metallic, if that makes any sense. We're gonna look at the insides now. Ooh, it's got that rubber O-ring. Look at that right there. It's got the rubber O-ring, which means that for a metal pen, you're not grinding the metal when you're tightening it up. You just squeeze, and at the last moment, you feel that nice bit of tension. Feels good. Feels real good. Let's actually get this thing open, though. Okay, looks like we got a mini converter. I like an interesting choice here. This is a frosted kind of plastic section, and I think that's cool. It's a weird, different way of doing things. Looks like a solid build. A little bit of give up here, but that's pretty common with converters, particularly ones that come for free with pens. If I remember correctly, HongDian doesn't use Standard International, or something that looks like Standard International but actually isn't. But here it has one of my favorite things that a converter can do, which is come apart completely, which means you can clean this out to your heart's content. You can re-lube it with silicone grease. So whatever this is, it'll be around for a while. This is probably going to be the best converter to put inside this pen. Awesome. And it looks like it has a decent capacity for its size. So that's great. Let's have a look at this nib unit. Is it friction fit? No, appears to be. Yeah, it's twist. It's a twisty. Okay, and it looks very similar to other HongDian nib units that I have seen. Just curious now. We've got the Black Forest. The Black Forest nib is also a twist type. And now I'm curious if that is the same as the twist type that is the M2. That would give me some more nib options I have, including this is a Howdy nib. So I'm going to untwist this and see what it looks like. It does look similar. The only way to know for sure is to give it a try. Oops, upside down. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so we got the flexibility of the Black Forest, a pen that I really love. So the nibs that are available for that look like they're gonna fit inside of this pen. So I've got a fine, an extra fine, and a Howdy nib for my Black Forest, and they sell those separately. So good news for those of you who love Howdy pens. Here's another one you can put in your bag. But we are going to focus on the extra fine here, and we're going to use the pen as delivered. So we'll do that. I'm going to put this pen back together, and let's do some drawing with it. In thinking about what pen to use, or sorry, what ink to use on this pen, it's kind of weird, but I do kind of like green pens, but I don't really have a lot of green inks that I like. This one's an interesting one. It's Somnium by the Colorverse Mini Collection. I think they had a full-size bottle of this as well. It's a sort of a grayed out green, and I do kind of like desaturated colors, so we're going to give this one a try. The one thing about these Colorverse mini bottles, it's a really cool way to get to know a brand, one of my favorite brands, that has very creative inks and very creative ink colors, but the bottles are too small to fit inside of for your pen to fit inside of them. So one way that you can do that is just place the converter directly into the bottle and see if you can get your ink filled that way. You also have the ability to use a blunt needle syringe if you have something like that laid around. That is a highly recommended piece of equipment. One of the things that I recommend every fountain pen lover should have, and this converter just barely fits inside. There are even some converters that do not like these tiny bottles, so just be aware of that. Okay, with that taken care of, I am going to grab the nib unit. We're gonna place it on top, right in there. It's a little bit dark with the way my lights are set up, but this right here is a pen we're gonna play around with. Looking forward to it. It's time to make some lines with this pen. Like I said, it's really comfortable. Got that nice little finial right there. And we're just gonna see what we can do with it based on pen. Whoa. Okay, so I have to point out, first of all, I like these lines, and you can have a look at them up close. It's an extra fine. It's not super extra fine, but it's extra fine enough that you could really get lost in the weeds in some details. And you know, I've had a few pens recently that I've done, you know, some more wide nibs. I appreciate the smoothness and I appreciate the flow being nicer, but it's fun to get into those details, I'll tell you what. And this has a nice flow and it's decently smooth for an extra fine nib. If you could see, it catches up quickly, and I noticed, because I usually test my pens a little bit before turning on the camera, this one just started writing right away. It just started making lines, so very reliable. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, because the HongDian Black Forest, which it seems like these are very similar, maybe even the same nibs, it gives me that kind of quality of line, so I guess this is another win for HongDian. We've got forward right here, and let's have a look at the reverse. All right, I'm gonna do a couple lines on the side here, just so we can get a picture of what those differences are. And there's definitely a difference between the two. A useful skill for a pen to have in art. Definitely dry lines on the reverse, but if you're just trying to scratch in a little bit of something extra, you could do worse. You could do much worse. Let's give some shapes here. I am enjoying the sound that pen makes on my paper. Feels good. All right. It's awesome that for this amount of money you could have something, and if you're not bitten by the pen collecting bug, first of all, count yourself lucky, and you're just looking for one nice reliable pen, this is not a bad choice, especially if you're looking for a pocket pen. At that form factor, you know, your options are a little more limited. HongDian makes other pens that I would also put in the category of if you just needed one pen. That'd be an interesting future video, because there's lots of pens that I recommend for people who already have sort of the established norm of creating a collection of pens, and it's probably a different list than the pens I recommend for people who just want one nice pen, don't want to spend too much money on it, and want it to be reliable, not require a lot of maintenance, especially out of the box, because if you don't have that skill, it's hard to tell if you have a bad pen or if you have a pen that just needs a little bit of TLC. This is not a bad pen, and it did not require any TLC. It just worked right out of the box. I love that. I didn't even rinse it out. I know a lot of people recommend rinsing out pens before you start drawing with them. I tend to not do that. I guess probably just laziness. But yeah, I'm starting to grow a little appreciation for this Somnium color too. It's a very, it's not a very bright pigmented color, and I do like that. I like to let my lines shine through rather than the color of my ink. So seeing all that and a sort of unassuming line plus an unassuming ink color, it feels nice. It makes me think I've got some places I can go with my drawing. So useful. I know this exists in probably all of my pen videos, but really enjoying the sound of the nib on the paper. That's a truly nice experience. I can pay attention to that rhythm. It helps me de-stress, helps me calm down after a long day, long week. I had a long week. I know it's only the beginning of March, but I kind of had a long month too. Or I'm about to. Anyway, how are you doing? Let's get a little bit of art advice. Art advice. Today I'm going to recommend that you play art games. Just something I was reminded recently because I have a club at the school where I work, and it's a sketchbook club. So the kids come in at lunch and they draw. We draw together, and lately we've been playing some art games. Simple ones you probably already know, like charades. There's a cool one called Telephone Pictionary. So much fun. If you don't know that one, look it up. Play it at your next family get-together. You don't have to be a great artist to do it. But it just reminded me how when you use art prompts to play games, you have stuff generated by other people. You have to put yourself on the spot. There's usually a time limit. It's a really great way to just grow your skills and be creative at the drop of a hat. So if you're having trouble with that creativity, or you're just feeling like you're in a slump, get some friends together and play some art games. I guarantee you will have a good time, as I do every Friday afternoon during my sketchbook club. So that's my advice for today. Let's draw. Okay, so using the M2 is a really enjoyable experience. I had so much fun working on this drawing and making it just kind of come alive. The pen gave me everything I need to just kind of make it pop and do all of the things that I wanted it to do. It was easy to control, it was comfortable to hold, and it came into a nice, neat little package when I capped it all up. Anytime you're seeing a drawing on this channel and you can see a bunch of my face and my nose, you could tell I'm really getting into detail, and my nose is all over this video. Speaking of which, why bikes? This video is about bikes. This drawing is about bikes because recently I went to a teaching conference in Southern California where I was giving a speech about data, because that's part of what I do. I'm a technology specialist at my school as well as being a teacher. So I was talking about teacher data, and I had made a slideshow using Google Slides, which the presenters of that conference had downloaded as a PowerPoint. Anyone who works with Google Sheets or Google Slides and PowerPoint knows that that's a really bad combination, but you might not expect what actually ended up happening, and the reason that I'm drawing a bicycle. I spent a little time talking about the pen, the rest is about this weird bicycle story. So what happened is I had these slides, and on my Google slideshow, when it was converted into a PowerPoint, for some random reason, random letters of the words in my presentation were converted to bicycles, like icons of a bicycle. And so I would have the word data, but instead of data, it would be a bicycle icon and EATA. And it wasn't just one alphabet letter, it was just random letters of different parts. It was completely bizarre. So I had to go with it and make jokes about, how data is the vehicle that drives us forward and stuff like that. It was a really successful speech, but I just had to roll with it. And that's something that you have to do as an artist as well. But just a silly reason in my life why I thought, you know what, we're going to draw a bicycle. I'm really proud of this drawing, by the way. I'm not really great at drawing bikes. You could probably see that my circles for the wheels are a little wonky, but I think I did better on that than I normally would do. And I think this is a cute little picture. I used to ride a bike when I lived in South Korea, and I miss it. I miss my bicycle. I was in a accident with a motorcycle with it, so unfortunately I haven't ridden a bike since, and I have a bad knee because of it. But I still do love bicycles. And this is my story. Why bikes? I have no idea. But I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you enjoyed the drawing. For final thoughts, this pen is absolutely fantastic in my opinion. The build quality is great, it's comfortable to hold. It's a pocket pen, but when posted, you get a full-size comfortable pen experience, in my opinion. If you're looking for something in this form factor that's reliable and useful in an everyday carry type of fashion, you could do a lot worse than this. As a matter of fact, I can't think of a pocket pen that I would recommend more than this one right here. It'd be an interesting thought for a future video. Hold on to that thought. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you are not subscribed to this channel. It helps grow the channel, gives me incentive to make more of these videos. And join the comments down below. Let me know what you think of this pen, if you have one, if you would be interested in getting one, other topics you'd like me to cover on this channel. I love all of that engagement. I love hearing from you guys. Check out my website, steveninks.com. You can get a copy of my book that I wrote, What Kind of Pen Is That? And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.